The race session is at Autodromo del Mugello in Scarperia, Italy. Robert Cormack from Italy is first, driving a McLaren 650. Hein van Niekerk from South Africa is P2 on mediums, driving a BMW Z4. Simon Champ from Italy is P3, driving a Porsche 911 GT3R. Brian Patterson from Scotland is fourth with 60 kilos, driving a McLaren 650. David Forsyth from Ireland is fifth on hards, driving a Lamborghini Huracan GT3. Ian Weeks from United Kingdom is sixth, driving a Ferrari 488 GT3. Martijn Mol from Netherlands is P7 with 80 kilos on mediums, driving a BMW Z4. Rene Robertson from England is 8th with 40 kilos on mediums, driving a Lamborghini Huracan GT3. Eric B. from Germany is P9 with 100 kilos on mediums, driving a Lamborghini Huracan GT3. Dominic Faubourg from United Kingdom is P10 on mediums, driving a BMW Z4. Daniel Handke from Germany is 11th, driving a McLaren 650. John Astrop from New Zealand is 12th on mediums, driving a Lamborghini Huracan GT3. Robert Valia from United States is 13th with 10 kilos, driving a McLaren 650. Glenfield entering the pits is 20th. 45 minutes remaining in the session. Race start. Hein van Niekerk is first. Hein van Niekerk is now first. Simon Champ in San Donato is P3. Simon Champ lost third to Brian Patterson. David Forsyth in Poggio Seco is P5. Martijn Mol in Borgo San Lorenzo is P6. Eric B. is 7th. Dominic Singendonk from Netherlands in Scarperia is P8 on hards, driving a BMW Z4. Robert Valia in Corinthio is 9th. Robert Valia is now 8th. Rene Robertson is P9. Rene Robertson is now P8. John Astrop in Rettilineo is 9, 0.1 behind Rene Robertson. Dominic Faubourg in San Donato is P10, 0.1 ahead of Daniel Handke. Dominic Faubourg is now 9. Robert Cormack exiting pits. Dominic Faubourg passed David Forsyth for 8th. Daniel Handke is P10, 0.1 behind David Forsyth. Daniel Handke passed David Forsyth for 9th. Ian Weeks is 11th, 0.3 behind David Forsyth. Rene Robertson in Arrabbiata 1 is P13 driving a Lamborghini Huracan GT3, 0.3 behind Simon Champ. Hein van Niekerk is second, 0.1 behind Brian Patterson. Martijn Mol in Hyundai T is third driving a Z4, 0.2 ahead of Robert Vallia. Robert Vallia in Buccine is fourth, 0.2 behind Martijn Mol. Martijn Mol in Rettilineo is fourth driving a Z4, 0.1 behind Robert Vallia. John Astrup in Poggio Seco is P5, 0.4 behind Martijn Mol. Dominic Singendonk in Borgo San Lorenzo on lap 3 is P6, 0.3 behind John Astrup. Rene Robertson in Savelli is 9th. Best lap is a 1:56.761. 4.769 off the fastest lap. 40 minutes remaining in the session. Rene Robertson passed David Forsyth Gray. David Forsyth is P10 battling Eric B. Eric B was 2.7 faster last lap. David Forsyth lost 10th to Eric B. Hein van Niekerk in Correntillo on lap 3 is P2, 0.3 behind Robert Vallia. John Astrup in Buccine on lap 3 is 5th, 0.1 behind Martijn Mol. Martijn Mol from Netherlands in Rettilineo is P5, 0.1 behind John Astrup. Dominic Singendonk in San Donato is 6th driving a Z4, 0.5 behind Martijn Mol. Daniel Handke is 7th, 0.4 behind Dominic Singendonk. Eric B is 10th, 0.3 behind Ian Weeks. Ian Weeks was 3.6 faster last lap. Dominic Bobart is P11, 0.1 behind Eric B. Simon Champ in Scarperia is P13, 0.4 behind David Forsyth. John Astrup is P4. Best lap is a 1:51.939. POINT 940 off the fastest lap. Daniel Handke in Rettilineo is P6, 0.3 ahead of Dominic Singendonk. Martijn Mol in San Donato is P6 battling Daniel Handke. Daniel Handke was 0.7 faster last lap. Martijn Mol passed Daniel Handke for P5. Dominic Sinjendonk in Poggio Seco is P6, 0.4 behind Martijn Mol. Daniel Handke is P7, 0.3 behind Dominic Sinjendonk. Daniel Handke was 0.9 faster last lap. Dominic Fauberg in Savelli is P11, 0.4 behind Eric B. Dominic Sinjendonk in Pelagio is P6, 0.4 ahead of Daniel Handke. Daniel Handke was 0.9 faster last lap. Daniel Handke in Correntallo is P7, 0.4 behind Dominic Sinjendonk. Dominic Fauberg is P11, 0.1 behind Eric B. Dominic Fauberg passed Eric B for 10th. Eric B in Rettilineo is 11, 0.1 behind Dominic Fauberg. Dominic Fauberg in San Donato is P11 battling Eric B. 35 minutes remaining in the session. Dominic Fauberg passed Eric B for 10th. Eric B from Germany in Poggio Seco is P11, 0.3 behind Dominic Fauberg. Dominic Sinjendonk in Savelli is P5 driving a Z4, 0.2 behind Brian Patterson. Martijn Mol is P6, 0.2 ahead of Daniel Handke. Daniel Handke in Correntallo is 7th, 0.4 behind Martijn Mol. Dominic Sinjendonk is P5, 0.3 behind Brian Patterson. Daniel Handke in Rettilineo is P7. Martijn Mol in San Donato is P7 on mediums, 0.1 behind Daniel Handke. Martijn Mol passed Daniel Handke for 6th. Daniel Handke in Poggio Seco is P7, 0.3 behind Martijn Mol. Ian Weeks in Borgo San Lorenzo is 10, 0.4 behind Dominic Fauberg. Daniel Handke is P7, 0.1 behind Martijn Mol. Ian Weeks in Scarperia is 10, 0.5 behind Dominic Fauberg. Martijn Mol in Biondetti is 6th. Best lap is a 151.350. 2.704 off the fastest lap. Daniel Handke in Buccine is P7, 0.2 behind Martijn Mol. Martijn Mol in Rettilineo is P6 on mediums battling Daniel Handke. Martijn Mol lost P6 to Daniel Handke. Daniel Handke from Germany in Assetto is P6, 0.3 ahead of Martijn Mol. Martijn Mol is P7, 0.2 behind Daniel Handke. Martijn Mol passed Daniel Handke for P6. Daniel Handke in Arrabbiata 1 is 7th. Best lap is a 1:50.639. 1.993 off the fastest lap. Rene Robertson in Pelagio on lap 8 is 8th, 0.3 behind Daniel Handke. Martijn Mol in Correntallo is 7th driving a Z4, 0.1 behind Daniel Handke. Rene Robertson in Buccine is P8. 30 minutes remaining in the session. Daniel Handke in Rettilineo is 6th, 0.2 behind Brian Patterson. Daniel Handke passed Brian Patterson for 5th. Brian Patterson in Lecco is P6 with 60 kilos, 0.2 behind Daniel Handke. Rene Robertson in Materassi is 7th on mediums, 0.3 behind Brian Patterson. Martijn Mol in Savelli is 8th, 0.4 behind Rene Robertson. Rene Robertson was 1.5 faster last lap. Rene Robertson is P7, 0.3 behind Brian Patterson. Rene Robertson was 1.0 faster last lap. Martijn Mol in Correntallo is P8, 0.5 behind Rene Robertson. Rene Robertson is P7, 0.3 behind Brian Patterson. Brian Patterson in Rettilineo is P7 battling Rene Robertson. Dominic Singendonk is P4. Best lap is a 1:50.117. 1.471 off the fastest lap. Dominic Favarg in Borgo San Lorenzo is P9. Best lap is a 1:50.485. 1.839 off the fastest lap. Brian Patterson in Arrabbiata 2 is P7, 0.5 behind Rene Robertson. Dominic Singendonk in Corinthio is P4, 0.4 behind Hein van Niekerk. Simon Champ from Italy in Casanova is P13, 0.5 behind Robert Cormack. Dominic Singendonk from Netherlands in Rectilineo is 4th, 0.5 behind Hein van Niekerk. Dominic Fabark in San Donato is 9th, driving a Z4, 0.5 behind Martijn Mol. Dominic Singendonk in Borgo San Lorenzo is 4th. Dominic Fabark in Casanova is 9th, driving a BMW Z4, 0.3 behind Martijn Mol. Dominic Singendonk in Scarperia is P4 on hards, 0.5 behind Hein van Niekerk. 25 minutes remaining in the session. Simon Champ in Borgo San Lorenzo is P13. Best lap is a 1:53.842. 5.196 off the fastest lap. Dominic Singendonk in Rectilineo is 4th. Simon Champ in Pelagio is 13th, 0.5 behind Robert Cormack. Dominic Singendonk in Materassi is P4, driving a Z4, 0.4 behind Hein van Niekerk. Daniel Handke in Savelli is P5, driving a 650 GT3, 0.3 behind Dominic Singendonk. Simon Champ in Rectilineo is P13, 0.3 behind Robert Cormack. Dominic Singendonk in Corinthio is 4th, 0.4 ahead of Daniel Handke. Daniel Handke was 0.9 faster last lap. Daniel Handke is P5, 0.3 behind Dominic Singendonk. Dominic Singendonk in Rectilineo on lap 12 is 4th, 0.2 ahead of Daniel Handke. Simon Champ in Arrabbiata 2 is 13th, driving a 911 GT3R, 1.2 behind Robert Cormack. Simon Champ passed Robert Cormack for P12. Robert Cormack is P13. Hein van Niekerk exiting pits on mediums. Dominic Singendonk exiting pits on mediums. Rene Robertson exiting pits on mediums. Ian Weeks in Borgo San Lorenzo is P6, 1.8 behind Dominic Faubard. Martijn Mol exiting pits on mediums. Dominic Faubard from United Kingdom in Scarperia is P5, 1.3 behind Brian Patterson. Ian Weeks in Biondetti is 6th. Best lap is a 151.094. 2.448 off the fastest lap. Dominic Singendonk is P9 on mediums driving a BMW Z4, 2.7 behind Hein van Niekerk. Robert Vallia exiting pits. Daniel Handke exiting pits. 20 minutes remaining in the session. Daniel Handke is 5th. Brian Patterson exiting pits. Daniel Handke is now 5th. Dominic Faubard exiting pits on mediums. Dominic Singendonk on lap 14 is 7th, 0.5 behind Daniel Handke. Dominic Faubard in Borgo San Lorenzo is P10 driving a BMW Z4, 0.7 behind Brian Patterson. Daniel Handke is P6, 0.9 behind Hein van Niekerk. Ian Weeks entering the pits is P2. Dominic Faubard in Corinthio is 10th, 0.3 behind Brian Patterson. John Astrup exiting pits on mediums. Brian Patterson in Buccine is 10th. Brian Patterson is now P11. Dominic Faubard in Rettilineo is P8. Ian Weeks exiting pits. Dominic Faubard passed Martijn Mol for 7th. Daniel Handke in Materassi is 4th driving a 650, 0.5 behind Hein van Niekerk. David Forsyth exiting pits on mediums. Martijn Mol in Borgo San Lorenzo is 8th driving a Z4, 0.5 behind Dominic Faubard. Daniel Handke in Pelagio is 4th. Best lap is a 149.885. 1.239 off the fastest lap. Robert Cormack exiting pits. Martijn Mol in Pelagio is 8th. 0.5 behind Dominic Favard. Daniel Handke in Bucine is fourth, driving a 650, 0.4 behind Hein van Niekerk. Martijn Mol in Bucine is 8th, 0.2 behind Dominic Favard. Daniel Handke in Lecco is P4, driving a 650, 0.3 behind Hein van Niekerk. Dominic Favard in Lecco is 8th, driving a Z4, 0.3 behind Martijn Mol. Daniel Handke in Arrabbiata 1 is P4, 0.3 behind Hein van Niekerk. Dominic Favard is P8, 0.2 behind Martijn Mol. Simon Champ exiting pits. 15 minutes remaining in the session. Daniel Handke from Germany in Correntillo is P4, 0.1 behind Hein van Niekerk. Dominic Favard in Biondetti is P8, driving a Z4, 0.5 behind Martijn Mol. Daniel Handke in Rettilineo is P4. Daniel Handke passed Hein van Niekerk for third. Hein van Niekerk in Poggio Seco on lap 17 is P4, 0.4 behind Daniel Handke. Dominic Favard is 8th, driving a Z4, 0.3 behind Martijn Mol. Hein van Niekerk on lap 17 is 4th, 1.0 behind Daniel Handke. Dominic Favard is 8th, 0.4 behind Martijn Mol. Rene Robertson in Bucine is 5th. Dominic Favard from United Kingdom in Rettilineo is P8, 0.6 behind Martijn Mol. Daniel Handke is P4, driving a 650 GT3, 2.4 ahead of Rene Robertson. Rene Robertson was 3.8 faster last lap. Dominic Faubourg is P8 driving a Z4, 0.8 behind Martijn Mol. Daniel Handke in Corinthio is 6, 0.6 behind Dominic Singendonk. Dominic Faubourg in Biondetti is 8th. Daniel Handke in Rettilineo is 6th. Dominic Faubourg in Lecco is P8, 0.1 behind Martijn Mol. Ten minutes remaining in the session. Daniel Handke in Savelli is P6, 0.7 behind Dominic Singendonk. Dominic Singendonk was 9.9 faster last lap. Dominic Faubourg in Arrabbiata 2 is 8th, 0.2 behind Martijn Mol. Daniel Handke in Corinthio on lap 19 is P6, 0.2 behind Dominic Singendonk. Dominic Faubourg from United Kingdom in Biondetti is P8, 0.4 behind Martijn Mol. Daniel Handke in Rettilineo is P6, 0.5 behind Dominic Singendonk. Dominic Faubourg in Rettilineo is P8 on mediums, 0.3 behind Martijn Mol. Daniel Handke in Materassi is P6, 0.5 behind Dominic Singendonk. Dominic Faubourg in Casanova is 8th driving a Z4, 0.3 behind Martijn Mol. Daniel Handke in Scarperia is 6th, 0.1 behind Dominic Singendonk. Dominic Faubourg is P8. Daniel Handke is 6th driving a 650 GT3, 0.1 behind Dominic Singendonk. Daniel Handke passed Dominic Singendonk for P5. Dominic Singendonk in Buccine on lap 20 is 8th, 0.2 behind Dominic Faubourg. Dominic Faubourg in Rettilineo is 7th, 0.4 ahead of Dominic Singendonk. Dominic Singendonk in Materassi is P8, 0.5 behind Dominic Favard. Dominic Favard was 5.2 faster last lap. Dominic Favard in Savelli is P6, 0.2 behind Martijn Mol. Dominic Singendonk is 7th, 0.4 behind Dominic Favard. Dominic Favard in Corintaio is P6, 0.3 behind Martijn Mol. Dominic Singendonk is P7, 0.3 behind Dominic Favard. Five minutes remaining in the session. Dominic Favard in Rettilineo is 6th, 0.2 ahead of Dominic Singendonk. Dominic Favard is now 6th. Dominic Singendonk in San Donato is 6th on mediums, 0.1 ahead of Dominic Favard. Dominic Singendonk lost 6th to Dominic Favard. Dominic Favard is P6, 0.1 behind Martijn Mol. Dominic Singendonk from Netherlands in Casanova is P7, 0.2 behind Dominic Favard. Dominic Favard in Arrabbiata 2 is P6, 0.3 ahead of Dominic Singendonk. Dominic Singendonk is P7, 0.4 behind Dominic Favard. Rene Robertson in Buccine is 4th driving a Lombo, 0.5 behind Hein van Niekerk. Dominic Favard from United Kingdom is 6th, 0.3 behind Martijn Mol. Martijn Mol is 6th driving a BMW Z4, 0.1 ahead of Dominic Singendonk. Dominic Singendonk in Poggio Seco is P7, 0.2 behind Martijn Mol. Rene Robertson in Arrabbiata 1 is P4 with 40 kilos, 0.3 behind Hein van Niekerk. Martijn Mol in Arrabbiata 1 is P7, 0.3 behind Dominic Singendonk. Rene Robertson in Corintaio is P4. Best lap is a 150.306. 1.660 off the fastest lap. Martijn Mol in Corintaio is 7th with 80 kilos, 0.2 behind Dominic Singendonk. Rene Robertson in Rettilineo is 4th, 0.5 behind Hein van Niekerk. Hein van Niekerk in Laco is P4. Best lap is a 150.219. 1.573 off the fastest lap. Dominic Favarg exiting pits on mediums. Mardich Mol is 6th driving a BMW Z4, 1.0 behind Dominic Singendonk. Hein van Niekerk in Arabiata 2 is 4th, 0.4 behind Rene Robertson. Brian Patterson in Arabiata 1 is P10 with 60 kilos, 0.6 behind Daniel Handke. Hein van Niekerk in Bucine on lap 24 is P4, 0.5 behind Rene Robertson. Brian Patterson in Bucine is 10th driving a 650, 1.1 behind Daniel Handke. Brian Patterson was 3.3 faster last lap. Hein van Niekerk is 4th, 0.7 behind Rene Robertson. Rene Robertson was 0.9 faster last lap. Brian Patterson in Materassi is 10th, 0.7 behind Daniel Handke. Hein van Niekerk in Corinthio is P4 on mediums, 0.5 behind Rene Robertson. Daniel Handke on lap 25 is P10 battling Brian Patterson. Hein van Niekerk in Rettilineo is P4, 0.5 behind Rene Robertson. Daniel Handke from Germany in Bucine is P10, 0.6 behind Brian Patterson. Hein van Niekerk from South Africa is 4th, 0.4 behind Rene Robertson. The leader has just finished the race. Robert Vallia finished first. David Forsyth finished 11th. John Astrup is P2. John Astrup finished second. Simon Champ finished P12. Rene Robertson finished 3rd. Hein van Niekerk finished 4th. Dominic Singendonk finished 5th. Ian Weeks finished P6. Robert Cormack finished 13th. Martijn Mol finished P7. Dominic Faubourg finished 8th. Brian Patterson finished 9th. Daniel Handke finished 10th.